Good morning. In this week's Sidra of Shmot, we have the famous incident of Moshe at the burning bush, where Hashem tasks him with saving and redeeming the Jewish people from Egypt. And Moshe refuses initially several times, providing different reasons as to his own inadequacy and why he doesn't feel he's the right person for it. And Hashem is adamant that he should go. And the one objection that Moshe raises is that he says, V'yomer, and he said, V'hein lo yaminu li. The Jewish people will not believe me. V'lo yishma'u b'koli, they won't listen to my voice. Ki omru lo nira lecha Hashem. Because they will say, God did not appear to you. And our commentaries point out over here that Moshe is not doubting their faith in Hashem, he's doubting their faith in him. And what Hashem gives him as a response is various miracles to perform, the first and most famous of which is that he will turn a staff into a snake. And Rabbi Yitzchak Twersky points out that actually from this point on, Moshe has a great deal of problems with the Jewish people, essentially the problem being that they believe in him a little too much, that they believe in his independence, that although they believe that Hashem's behind everything ultimately, that he gave Moshe a free hand, and then Moshe's bungling the job. Moshe, why are you doing this to us? Why are you doing that to us? Why did you take us out of Egypt? Where's our water? We're all going to die. We want to go back. This isn't what Hashem intended, Moshe. You're not doing a good job, right? And this continues throughout, in fact, reaching a point at the sin of the golden calf that they say, well, if there's no Moshe, then we can't connect to Hashem anymore, because they attributed to Moshe so much power. And the last time that this kind of thing really takes place is with the snakes in the book of Bamidbar, 40 years later, that the Jewish people are complaining, and Hashem sends against them these fiery serpents, and the solution is to take a snake and to hold it up as a banner, to hold it up as an indicator of other people, and the people look at that snake and they are saved. And the point that Rabbi Yitzchak Twersky makes is that he says the problems all start when a staff is turned into a snake. The problems end when a snake is transformed into a staff. And in order to understand this, he says we need to know what the Torah intends to symbolize with the staff and with the snake. The staff, he says, is always something to point, to call our attention, to bring us to contemplate on the power of Hashem. That's the idea of what the staff is. The staff is to say, remember, this is coming from Hashem. We find this in the war against Amalek, that Moshe holds up his hands, and when he lifts up his hands, the Jewish people are saved. And Rashi says what? It's Moshe's hands that help? No, he says when they looked at his hands and his hands were pointing up to heaven, they realized that it was coming from Hashem. That's what the staff does. It calls our attention to the fact that Hashem is behind things and Hashem is performing the miracles. What does the snake do on the other hand? The snake always symbolizes the illusion of independence from Hashem. The idea that I'm going to do my own thing, that I am not controlled or bounded or impacted by what Hashem wants. I'll do what I want to do. That's from the very first snake in the Garden of Eden, who tells Adam and Eve, you don't need to listen to Hashem. He's lying to you, he's deceiving you, etc. And throughout, that's the symbolism. Rabbi Twersky points out as well that the word for witchcraft, nechashim, is that same kind of idea, going against the natural order that Hashem has placed in the world and manipulating it in this way of sorcery and magic. And that, he says, is the brackets of the problems that Moshe experiences in his life. And just for me to take it a step further, that we see again the problem is that Moshe wants them to believe in him. And so Hashem says they will believe in you. Right? But believing in you carries with it its own problems. You want them to believe in you, then what you need is not the staff. What you need is not for them to be looking back at Hashem all the time. You need the snake. You need them to be looking at you. You want them to think of you as a power, of you as a leader. Okay, so they will. And let's see how that goes. And it creates many, many problems. And at the end of his life, the solution is that they turn the snake back into a staff. That all of that power that they had invested in Moshe, they now need to realize was always coming from Hashem. Hashem's always the one who's been behind it all. Moshe simply was, so to speak, a staff in his hand. Moshe was the chosen agent of his redemption and the chosen vehicle for his word and for his commands. But it was never Moshe. It was always Hashem. And so the problems come in life, my friends, when we turn the staff into a snake. The solutions come when we are able to see that the snake is really the staff. Shabbat Shalom.